Elijah Brooks clutched his folded schedule tightly as he stepped onto the grand campus of Whitestone Academy. The stately brick buildings and groomed courtyards looked like a different planet compared to his old public school back in Oakland. His second-hand blazer, painstakingly tailored by his mom from 2 thrift store finds, hung stiffly on his shoulders. Room 214. Advanced mathematics, he muttered, scanning the elegant hallway signs as students in polished shoes and custom uniforms streamed past. His nervous fingers traced the embroidered school crest stitched to his borrowed tie. As Elijah pushed the classroom door open, conversations dimmed. 20 faces turned. Some eyes blinked in curiosity, others in judgment. He took an empty seat in the back, instinctively trying to make himself invisible. "That's Carson's seat," whispered a girl nearby, her braids woven in intricate patterns. She nodded toward the hallway. "I'm Lila, by the way." Before Elijah could reply, the door swung open dramatically. A tall, blonde student stepped in with perfect posture, his friends carrying his bag and a custom coffee tumbler. The energy in the room shifted. "That's the desk my father paid for," he announced, stopping beside Elijah. "Carson Whitmore III," he added with smirked emphasis. "We own the Performing Arts Center." In the East Wing, Elijah stood, apologizing softly. "I didn't know." "Mr. Whitmore, take your seat," said MS. Fairchild from the front, her voice unusually warm. "And you must be our new transfer student," she added with a tight smile toward Elijah. "There's an open desk in the back corner." As Elijah moved, he caught Carson stage whispering, "Scholarship kids should really get the seating chart first thing." MS. Fairchild launched into a lesson on derivatives, ignoring Elijah's raised hand more than once. Carson answered a question with smug confidence and was wrong. MS. Fairchild praised his effort anyway. Later, in the hallway, Elijah lingered by the lockers, checking his next class. "Don't take it personally," Lila said, appearing beside him. "Carson's family basically bankrolls the school. Platinum status." "I'm here to learn," Elijah replied. "My mom worked double shifts to cover what the scholarship doesn't." "Well," Lila said, "you've got 3 more classes with our resident prince. And his dad's on the board." Elijah didn't respond. Across the hallway, Carson was surrounded by students laughing at some story, his uniform perfectly tailored, his silver watch gleaming. Elijah turned away. "I'm not here to make waves," he said under his breath. "Just need to survive the year." But something told him that survival at Whitestone Academy might be the one equation he couldn't solve. 3 weeks into the semester, Elijah Brooks had carved out a quiet rhythm. He arrived early, left late, kept his head down, and avoided confrontation at all costs. While his academic scores were top of the class, he learned fast that participation was a dangerous game in certain classrooms, especially in advanced mathematics with MS. Fairchild and Carson Whitmore sitting front and center. That Thursday, the classroom buzzed with tension. MS. Fairchild had assigned group work on computational algorithms. Elijah was paired with Lila, while Carson sat comfortably flanked by his usual entourage. "This is kid stuff," Carson said loudly. "My Stanford tutor covered all this last summer." Despite his bragging, Elijah noticed Carson's worksheet was barely filled out. Meanwhile, Elijah and Lila were almost done. MS. Fairchild walked around, lingering at Carson's desk. "Remember what we discussed in our private session," she said softly. "Trust yourself. You've got this." Just then, the door opened and Principal Ellison entered with a sharply dressed visitor. "Class, this is Mr. Whitmore," the principal announced. "He's visiting today to observe how we're preparing for next month's MIT regional competition." Carson sat up straighter. "Father, we're just finishing algorithm practice." Mr. Whitmore nodded at his son, then gave the room a sweeping glance, his gaze stopping momentarily on Elijah. Something passed through his eyes. Curiosity, maybe. After the visitors left, Carson's energy shifted. His frustration built as he failed to make sense of his assignment. Then, with a sweep of his hand, he knocked his tumbler over, coffee flooding his desk and paper. MS. Fairchild rushed over. "Let me grab you a new worksheet," she offered. "No need," Carson said coldly, locking eyes on Elijah. "Brooks can clean it up for me. After all, he's here on a scholarship." The room fell into an icy silence. "MS." Fairchild hesitated. Then, with a weak voice, she said, "Mr. Brooks, please assist Mr. Whitmore while I continue with the others." Elijah's chest tightened. His face burned, but he nodded quietly and stood. "The cleaning supplies are in the back," Carson added with a smug grin. "Make sure to dry the desk properly. It's mahogany, not whatever they used at your old school." As the whole room watched, Elijah retrieved paper towels and cleaned the desk. His hands trembled, but his expression didn't flinch. "And when you're done," Carson said loudly, "maybe you can explain these algorithms in simpler terms. You know, basic stuff." Lila started to rise in protest, but Elijah gave her a subtle shake of his head. This wasn't her fight. As he wiped the desk, Elijah noticed Carson had written a flawed equation. For a split second, he considered pointing it out, then decided against it. Some lessons needed to be earned. The Whitestone Academy library closed at 6 p.m. for most students. But Elijah had found an unofficial haven among the janitorial staff. Mr. Delgado, the head custodian, often let him stay late under the condition that he helped shelve returned books. "You're still here?" Mr. Delgado asked, peeking around the corner. "Just finishing some research, sir," Elijah replied, minimizing a window on his laptop. "Don't see many students working this hard," the janitor said with a nod. "Keep at it." As Mr. Delgado moved on, Elijah reopened his project window. It wasn't homework on the screen, but something much more ambitious. A prototype code for a self-learning algorithm capable of pattern recognition from scattered data inputs. He'd started it as a challenge. Now, it had evolved into an obsession. His humiliation earlier that day was still fresh, but here, surrounded by books and binary, Elijah felt in control. He refined his lines of code, fingers flying across the keyboard. "You're not working on class material, are you?" came a deep voice behind him. Elijah flinched, quickly covering his screen. Then he recognized the speaker, Coach Williams, track coach and part-time computer science teacher for the underclassmen. "It's just a project," Elijah said. Williams leaned over, scanning the screen. "Recursive neural networks. Quantum logic nodes. This isn't just a project. You know, most grad students can't even spell half the terms you've written here." Elijah lowered his eyes. "It's just something I've been working on." Coach Williams pulled up a chair. "Walk me through it." Elijah hesitated, then slowly explained. His algorithm could scan seemingly unrelated global data, like commodity prices, regional weather, political events, and forecast market fluctuations with precision. "My uncle works in finance," Elijah said. "He always talked about how even the best models fail to connect dots across fields. So I figured, what if I build something that learns too?" Coach Williams whistled softly. "Son, this isn't something you hide in a library. This is the kind of work the MIT competition is made for." Elijah gave a faint smile. "MS. Fairchild barely lets me answer questions. I doubt she's going to pick me to represent the school." "You don't need her permission to shine," Williams said. "You just need the guts to show up." As Elijah packed up to leave, he got a text from his mom. "Working late shift. Dinner's in the fridge. Watch over your sister. Love you." Coach Williams placed a hand on his shoulder before he left. "Think about it, Elijah. That competition could change everything. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise." As the sun dipped behind the hills, Elijah walked past the luxury homes surrounding the school. Eventually, the manicured sidewalks gave way to cracked pavement and the familiar scent of downtown Oakland. Inside his apartment, his 10-year-old sister, Marley, was asleep on the couch with math worksheets scattered around her. He smiled, draped a blanket over her, then returned to their shared desk. Opening his laptop again, Elijah stared at the algorithm code. Then, with a deep breath, he opened a new browser window and typed, "MIT High School Mathematics and Computing Competition, Entry Requirements." Maybe it was time to stop hiding.